Forget about Aghanim's, you're probably building Witch Doctor wrong, and today I'll show you how to win every single fight with the hero. Hello everyone! As you already know, I'm a big fan of Witch Doctor. I have thousands of games on the hero. Lately I've been experimenting with my build and I came to conclusion that there is a certain build that makes the game unplayable for enemy. The build I'm talking about is Healing Witch Doctor. And to understand why is it strong, we need to talk about what has changed. For the start, in 7.40 there was a big region change. Cores are no longer efficient when they get tangos from their lane partners, making healing on the lane more valuable. But this is the least important of the changes that this build will abuse. On top of his healing getting a small buff in terms of mana, there's two important changes to the items that will be included in this build. First of all, Guardian Greaves got an insane buff. Their cost got reduced by over 700, and even though the aura component for the team was reduced, it is still a burst region item that has built-in a dispel. On top of that, it has a great synergy with your W, as you get both bursts of a heal as well as mana to keep you alive longer, where you can, you guessed it, keep healing with your W. With that build, you will have 3 sources of sustain, a dispel, and on top of that, hopefully you will get a shard as well, making you pretty much unkillable. And you know what's the best way of dealing damage as a Witch Doctor? It's actually staying alive. You don't need to invest into Aghanims, probably with a blink as well, to cast your ultimate. Sure, it feels great, but both Aghanims and the shard are getting nerfed every patch, and if there is a single stun or silence on the enemy team, you can find your 6k gold going down the drain. And you know what's the combination of item that is pretty much the same amount of gold? It's Locket with Mech. And remember, damage doesn't win you the fights if you're dead. And on top of being the similar amount of gold, it actually has a way better build up. With every piece you get some value. Let me just say that I still believe that Vessel is the best item on the hero. But in some games you simply don't need damage, or you have a Vessel carrier on your team. As an example for today's build, I will show you my game in 10k bracket, where I'm playing position for Witch Doctor, and at some point I become pretty much unkillable, despite enemy having a pretty decent draft in terms of bursting me. What I will say though, you can play that hero the same way position 4 and position 5. This will also shift your gameplay from hiding in the trees, waiting for the right moment, to running in with no fear. For the start, I still believe you should be maxing Maledict early on. It is your source of damage, it scales really good, and cooldown is getting reduced by 4 seconds with every level, and this will be your main damage spell for the game. Death Ward is just a bonus. A well placed Maledict in the fight will not only deal great amount of damage, but also with the facet it has a potential to burst in AoE. As for the healing, depending on the game you should max it out next, or if your team lacks a stun like our team did here, I'm basically the only stun in the team, leave it for last. However, getting heal early on is crucial. Depending on the lane you're facing, you can get it as early as level 2. It is really efficient spell in terms of mana cost. In order to keep healing your team, you need 2 things, mana and to stay alive. This is why you will get Arcane Boots as your first item, followed by Mech or Locket, depending on the game. Mech is a bigger burst of healing and allows you to get Greaves early, and this item is crucial for you to stay alive. This spell works great against heroes that have some sort of control over you. You can dispel yourself out of Overgrowth for example, but also most of their slows and roots. And this is also the reason why in most games you want to take 200 HP talent, even though you're playing around heal. Your main way to use the healing is to stay alive, and 200 HP will help you a lot with that. With this build, you should also aim to collect every healing Lotus you can. It will get amplified by Locket as well, making the Great One heal for over 1000 HP. Pretty good for a free item. So, as you can imagine, your job is to get into the fight, cast your spells, and do not get bursted. Depending on the enemy draft, your ability to go deep in the fights will vary. Here, I have to make sure I don't get either roared by Beastmaster or burst down by Weaver, but other than that, I should be fine. There will be games where you will be able to simply run into the middle of the fight. If that's the case, get the shard. While I think the item itself isn't really great, it is especially good versus heavy commitment melee heroes like Troll or PA. Bait enemies, press Maledict, shard, and just watch them die. Your main goal with the build is to stay alive, so after Greaves and Locket, your next item will depend on the enemy drop. Lotus Orb, Glimmer Cape, Force Staff. Get what you and your team needs and keep healing your teammates. Because remember, you will deal damage with your spells. You don't need to base your game around Aghanims, as you will have a big bounty on your head anyway. Why make it easier for enemies by standing in one place? Make yourself a tank, and at some point you will win every fight. Keep in mind I have a full guide on Witch Doctor, as you can see on the top right. I just wanted to make a video on this specific build, as there are games like this one that at some point enemies won't be able to win a teamfight versus you, as the Doctor will out-heal the damage. That's it everyone. As always, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any best builds and general support guides. See you!